Warner Brothers and their future hinges all on Superman. The weight of the world is on the Man of Steel's shoulders, apparently. This is all rumour and conjecture at this point in time. We're going to take a look at this new report from noted industry insider Matt Bellany, who, he's broken a lot of stories, actually. He's someone who used to work for The Hollywood Reporter, and other mainstream media sites tend to report on what he's leaked. He breaks the stories, they report on it, and a lot of his stuff turns out to be true. So this is interesting if it is indeed true. Warner Brothers hasn't had a great track record lately, in terms of their theatrical releases. They've not done great, shall we say. It's being super kind. They've had bomb after bomb after bomb. And that's not to say that the movies that they're releasing are shit. It's just that they have had some notable bombs. And Superman is a really, really heavy, high-budget hitter for Warner Brothers. Now, DC in general could be a massive moneymaker for Warner Brothers Discovery, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. So hit subscribe if you are new here. Genuinely, can't thank you all enough for those that have hit subscribe and sort of answered that call. There's about 50% of you guys that are not yet subscribed. And when I ask, I get more subscribers, and that does genuinely help out the channel. So if you could, that would be great. Thank you in advance. But like I said, we're going to take a look at this. So this is just an article based on a newsletter by Matt Bellany and Puck. So Warner Brothers Pictures' future may hinge on Superman's success. Is Peter Safran set to leave DC Studios? I mean, it's an interesting prospect, isn't it? It's an interesting prospect. So it says this: believe it or not, Superman may even be maybe even more important than anybody realized, as the future of Warner Brothers Discovery as a whole could be at stake. Now, this sort of corroborates a lot of stories that we previously heard over the last few years, that Warner Brothers was setting up DC as a brand to sell and obviously make money, and that they were contemplating breaking up more and more of, what they own and what they have, and it was posited that David Zaslav essentially, with Discovery, merged with Warner Brothers in an effort to turn it around and sell it. Right? Sell it for a profit, not keep running it. He didn't want to run it. It was that he wanted to quickly turn it around, set it up that it can be sold on, get rid of it, and then he can just go back to doing Discovery. Again, we've heard this a lot, a hell of a lot, actually. So Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi's stint as Warner Brothers Pictures co-chiefs has been a disaster, and it has. Outside of the odd hit like Barbie, the studio continues to release movies that regularly underperform. Mickey 17 is the latest in that example. I did a video on that. It's bombed. It's absolutely bombed. It's a pretty major disaster of a movie. So it's undeniable now that Warner Brothers are not releasing major hits. It just is what it is. Joker Folie à Deux was another colossal mistake. I mean, that was a huge mistake. Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav is looking to cut costs and make movies on the cheap. Luca and Abdi allowed Todd Phillips to essentially rip them off for $200 million so he could shoot a lavish sequel meant to satisfy his and Joaquin Phoenix's desire for a musical. I mean, it was the most retarded decision they could have possibly made for that movie. It was a big F you to everyone, and pocketing the change. So according to a new report from Puck, Zaslav, an unpopular figure in Hollywood because he's supposedly pro-MAGA, even though all of his DEI shit indicates otherwise. They list, because he scrapped Batgirl and Coyote vs. Acme mid-production. Apparently he's considering replacing Luca and Abdi. Now that's pretty major. Apparently one top contender is DC Studios co-CEO Peter Safran. Interesting. It makes sense that you would hire someone in-house that you have a relationship with. Now, that would obviously mean James Gunn would be left as the sole head of that studio, but they could still hire someone else to get involved, obviously. Beyond that, it appears that the pressure is on Superman to be a hit, as it's now described as having an, quote, almost incalculable importance. That's not good, is it? The entire future of your studio hinging on one movie is not good. To Warner Brothers Discovery, the report explains that there's a, quote, genuine fear Warner Brothers could go the way of 20th Century Fox, a studio scooped up by Disney when it was no longer sustainable for it to exist on its own. I don't know if anyone could buy it, though. I don't know if anyone could buy it. Disney certainly couldn't buy it. They would own way too much of the market share. So I'm not overly sure. I'm not overly sure who would buy it, who would be able to buy it. I think some people like Skydance might be able to. They're quite a small company, really. They don't own a massive amount of the market share. Then partnering with Warner Brothers could work. Now, according to one studio veteran, quote, an essential element of the stock price is believing that the IP of DC is meaningful. So again, it's just all on DC. David Zaslav bet big that they can show the world that the DC IP can have real value. Superman is the first movie. That will set the tone. They have a tremendous amount riding on it. Now that does make sense. This movie's budget is just insane. It was supposedly somewhere in the region of like $300 million, although we don't know. No one's actually revealed anything, but that was one element of a tax filing that we found and blah, 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 blah. But it does make sense. DC as an IP, I think, you know, isn't it funny and a shame that David Zaslav is like, we've got to show the world that DC IP has value. It's like, of course it has value. It's just been poorly utilized. And actually throwing money at a movie on this scale anyway at a movie that's not smart. That's not showing it's got value. Pouring loads and loads and loads of money into something doesn't give it value. Getting behind creatives gives it value, right? Creatives that know how to wrangle the IP into something that is appealing to everyone. And the IP is quite appealing. Like, it's not a bad IP. I'm not a DC fan or a Marvel fan, but it's a pretty good IP, all things considered. There's a lot you could do with it. I just feel like it's been poorly managed. But throwing money at it doesn't make it like a valuable IP. It actually devalues it, quite frankly, because it shows that it's only valuable with the amount of money that you throw at it. And then the profit margins are smaller. So it's dumb. But again, not a surprise. It says this: up until this point, we've all pretty much believed that if Superman flops, DC Studios is in trouble. James Gunn has actually said as much. He said that the entire future does actually, like DC moving forwards, does hinge on Superman. He said that. And he's also said that they're not going to make any more unless that's a success. He has said that. But apparently the whole studio, Warner Brothers in general, could be at risk. So it says this: Warner Brothers is relying on the DCU slate being a huge draw that generates some guaranteed box office hits. That's likely to be easier said than done when the brand is tarnished and moviegoers are showing hard to ignore signs of superhero fatigue. Yes and no. I think people are just sick of shit superheroes. Right? Shit superhero movies. But so you only need one to be a hit and it will go well. So there you go. There's not a great deal else to say here. It is interesting though. The whole future could hinge on this. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. I am inclined to believe this, and I'm inclined to believe it for a few reasons, because Warner Brothers has not been doing very well. And this is a large investment. The brand is a large investment. Why would they keep the brand if they're not going to make money from it? They just get rid of it. They just sell it. So there you go. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye now.